this video, we're going over the new top 5 best class setups here in Black Ops 6 Season 1. I will be going over both 5 as well as 8 attachment class setups. So if that sounds good, feel free, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and those post notifications to stay up to date. Let's get into it. For class setup number 1, we're taking a look at the XM4. Overall, one of the best assault rifles both in Black Ops 6 multiplayer as well as Warzone. This weapon also received a buff. Check it out. For the optic, we are going to be rocking the Kepler Microflex to make sure this weapon is easy to use at those medium as well as longer ranges. Now, for the muzzle on this class setup, we can rock the suppressor to take us off the radar when firing, which is a massive W. This build is going to be good at any and all ranges, and it's going to have very low recoil. For the barrel, I highly recommend putting on the long barrel. They did extend the damage range on this assault rifle this update, so we're going to go ahead and maximize that with the long barrel, buffing the damage range even more. Now, for the underbarrel, I do recommend putting on the Ranger foregrip. This is not only going to help out with the horizontal recoil control, but sprinting movement speed as well, so we can take people out very easily at those close, medium, and longer ranges. This is one of the most universal assault rifles in the entire game. For the magazine, I highly recommend putting on extended mag 1. This is going to be working out beautifully on the XM4. This weapon does have a moderate fire rate, which is a good thing, so having a 45 round magazine is going to be a massive W. All the other ammunition types are going to be okay, but they are going to be hindering your performance, so keep that in mind. The only other option I would run would be the fast mag 1, but since the fact this weapon doesn't have a slow reload, extended mag 1 is going to be the best choice. Now, for the rear grip, I do recommend putting on the commando grip on the assault rifles. This is going to be helping us out at those close to medium ranges with that improved aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, which is very important so you can ready your weapon and get that first shot and guarantee that kill. Now, for the stock, I highly recommend putting on the combat stock. This is going to be a great attachment on the XM4, not only helping us out with flinch resistance as well as aim walking movement speed. This is going to be a great attachment when going ahead and using this weapon at those medium ranges, because you can stay on target when shot and walk around aim down sight, ready to win each and every gunfight. Give this a go. Now, we're going to be skipping over the lasers. These are relevant. They give away your position when you're ADS, so definitely stay clear of these. And then finally, for the fire mods, we are going to be rocking the recoil springs to help us out at those medium to long range engagements with improved horizontal recoil control and vertical recoil control. Overall, a great attachment on the XM4. Once you go ahead and build this class setup, you're going to be incredibly happy, because in the firing range, we essentially have an XM4 build that's going to have a respectable ADS, sprint out speed, aim walking speed, and we are going to have very controllable recoil. One of the best assault rifles in the game to definitely check out here within Season 1. Now, let's say you do not like to run 8 attachment builds. You don't want to use gunfighter. You want to run extra perks or something else. What you can do is remove the recoil springs. You're also going to remove the combat stock, and you're going to remove the extended mag 1, giving you a 5 attachment class setup. This is still going to be an effective setup, but you guys can see here our aim walking movement speed is not going to be as fast, and we're not going to have as much recoil control, but it is still going to be a rock solid class setup. I like to rock the 8 attachment builds because whenever a gun is good, I'm going to run as many attachments on it as possible to make it even better. For class setup number 2, we're taking a look at the AK-74. Unfortunately, the AEK-973 received a hard nerf this update. The AK-74 is going to be its replacement. Now, for the optic, we are going to be rocking the Kepler Microflex again, just to go ahead and make sure this weapon is effective at medium to longer ranges and in line with the XM4. For the muzzle, you do have 2 choices here, which I will show both versions of this class in the firing range. You can take yourself off the radar with the suppressor, or you could rock the compensator to bump up that vertical recoil control. It depends on if you want to be stealthy or loud and proud. Now, for the barrel, I recommend putting on the long barrel when rocking the AK-74, just so we can outgun as many players as possible across the map, bumping up the damage range to its full potential. You can't go wrong with this attachment. Now for the underbarrel, we are going to be rocking the vertical foregrip on this assault rifle to improve that horizontal recoil control. This is going to be very important to run on the AK-74, especially if you're not running the compensator. This weapon does have a weird recoil pattern that we have to keep in check and mitigate. So make sure you guys have this on your setup. For the magazine, we are going to be rocking extended mag 1. Fast mag 1 is also a good choice, but for the AK-74, I really enjoy having that extra 10 rounds with the 40 round magazine over the faster reload. This weapon does not have a slow reload by default, so the extended mag 1 is going to be your best choice. Now for the rear grip, just like the XM4, we are still going to be rocking the commando grip to improve aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, so we're ready to win each and every gunfight at those close as well as medium ranges. Now for the stock, we're going to be rocking the combat stock as well. This is going to work out great on the AK-74 for that improved flinch resistance and aim walking movement speed, so we can win those mid-range gunfights and walk around aim down sight, ready to win each and every gunfight. Now obviously the lasers are going to be skipped over. These are game away position. This is definitely a no-go on an assault rifle build. But for the fire mods, we are going to be rocking recoil springs here. We need to mitigate as much recoil as possible, and having improved horizontal recoil control and vertical recoil control is definitely a massive W with this assault rifle. I'm going to go ahead and show this iteration of the class setup, which is my personal favorite, because you're going to have a mix of accuracy and stealth. And as you guys can see here, we are going to be having a nice recoil pattern, and we're going to be getting a fast TTK. As you guys can see, the reload speed is still relatively fast with the 40 round magazine. This is exactly why I recommend it over the fast mag. Now let's say you want to go ahead and rock the compensator over the suppressor. This is also a very good class setup. You're going to see that we do have a class here that's going to have very controllable recoil, but again, you are going to be on the map, so keep that in mind. Now, let's say you wanted to run just a 5 attachment build. You did not want to utilize gunfighter. What you're going to do is remove the recoil springs. You're also going to go ahead and remove the combat stock and extended mag 1, but you're going to have to keep the compensator equipped because we're not running recoil springs anymore. This is going to be a loud and proud class. Once you go ahead and jump in the fire range with this build, you're going to see here that it is still going to be accurate. It's not going to be as good as the 8 attachment class setup, but overall a rock solid AK-74 setup that you can use in replacement for the AEK-973, which got completely butchered this update. For class setup number 3, we are taking a look at the C9, one of the best SMGs to use in the entire game. We're not going to run an optic. This weapon has great iron sights, no need to waste an attachment slot here. For the muzzle, we are going to rock the suppressor. This weapon has a very controllable recoil pattern, so being off the radar is going to be a massive W. For the barrel, we are going to be rocking the reinforced barrel on the C9. This is a great attachment on this submachine gun. They recently buffed all these submachine guns, increasing that damage range and bullet velocity. We're going to do exactly that with this weapon, so definitely go ahead and rock this barrel when you are running the C9. For the underbarrel, we are going to be rocking the vertical foregrip. This is going to be helping out that horizontal recoil control. This weapon does have a little bit of a weird recoil pattern. This is going to make sure this weapon is going to be as accurate as possible at those medium ranges, so you can win as many gunfights as possible. Now, for the magazine, I do recommend putting on the flip mag. This weapon has a very awkward and slow reload time, which doesn't really make sense because it is a submachine gun, and in all reality, you're supposed to be running and gunning and staying locked and loaded. The flip mag is going to make sure that is happening. So make sure you guys have this on your setup. For the rear grip, I do recommend putting on the CQB grip on the submachine guns. This is very important because we're taking advantage of sprint to fire speed, slide to fire speed, and dive to fire speed with this weapon. Everything we need with a submachine gun to outgun players at close range, we have locked in with this attachment. For the stock, I highly recommend putting on the combat stock. This is even more important on the submachine guns than it is on the assault rifles, because we definitely need that flinch resistance because we're running and gunning more, and aim walking movement speed is a massive W because we're going to be able to walk around aim down sight even faster with SMGs, meaning we can win a lot more close range engagements. And then finally, we're going to be running a fire mod. For the subs, definitely skip over the lasers. Giving away your position is something you do not want to have happen. But for the fire mod, we are going to be rocking the recoil springs on this submachine gun just to make things a lot easier. Rapid fire would be a good option, but we do not want to remove bullet velocity and damage range because Black Ops 6 is currently an AR dominant Call of Duty. So bumping up that recoil control, horizontal and vertical is going to be a better choice. Once you go ahead and build this class, you're going to be incredibly happy because in the firing range, we have a C9 build that is going to have a respectable ADS, sprint out, as well as recoil control. Overall, a great class setup if you're trying to run and gun and outgun players at those medium to longer ranges, which is going to be quite easy to do with the submachine gun. You guys can see even with the flip mag, the reload isn't that quick. It's ridiculous without it. Now, let's say you did not want to rock a 7 attachment class setup here because we're not going to run an optic, so we're only running 7. You can remove the recoil springs. You can also go ahead and remove the combat stock, just giving you a 5 attachment class. For the submachine guns, honestly, I do recommend running a 7 or 8 attachment class setup. But as you guys can see here, this weapon is still going to be solid even with only 5 attachments. Now, I'm going to go ahead and showcase another version just so you guys have an idea on the reload speed if you did not want to run the flip mag. The extended mag 2 can be a viable option, but I am going to tell you guys that the reload speed is going to be a little bit slower. But if you wanted to go ahead and bump up to a 50 round magazine, you could. But as you guys can see, it isn't quick whatsoever. The flip mag is going to be the better choice. For class setup number 4, we are going to be rocking the TANTO 22, an absolute heavy hitter of a submachine gun. We are running an optic to make sure things are easy to use at those medium to longer ranges, and the Kevlar Microflex is going to be a great choice. Now, for the muzzle, we are going to be running this weapon loud and proud to control the recoil, and the compensator is going to be the best choice, bumping up vertical recoil control. For the barrel on the TANTO, I recommend putting on the long barrel. This is essentially going to be a pocket assault rifle because of its high damage, so having improved damage range is definitely going to be a great choice. For the underbarrel, I am going to be recommending running the vertical foregrip here, but want to remove a lot of that horizontal recoil, which is going to be plaguing this weapon at longer ranges. Make sure you guys have this on your class setup. If you don't run it, it's going to be a little bit more uncontrollable. Now, for the magazine, I do like running the extended mag 1 or the flip mag on this submachine gun. It really just depends on if you want to have a faster reload or some extra ammo. You can't go wrong with either or, so if you're trying to run and gun, rock the flip mag. If you're not really that much of an aggressive player, extended mag 1 is also a great choice. Now, for the rear grip, we are going to be utilizing the CQB grip because it's a submachine gun, so having that improved sprint to fire speed, slide to fire speed, and dive to fire speed is definitely a nice attribute to have when you are running a SMG. Now, for the stock, again, we are going to rock the combat stock, a very important attachment on this submachine gun, even more so than the C9, because we definitely need that flinch resistance and a walking movement speed. But this weapon does not have the fastest fire rate. We're going to need all the assist we could get at those close ranges. We're not running a laser, completely irrelevant on this build, but we are going to be running a fire mod, and we have to rock rapid fire on the TANTO 22 because this weapon does not have the fastest fire rate. This is going to completely change the game with the submachine gun, allowing us to run over players at those close ranges. Overall, a great class setup. This is going to be the 8 attachment build. Once you jump into the firing range, you're going to see here how effective it is. We have a respectable ADS, sprint out, as well as aim walking speed, and the recoil control is definitely going to be there because we have running the compensator as well as the vertical foregrip. So definitely give this a try. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and run the extended mag 1, I'm going to showcase what this looks like with the TANTO. It is going to have a little bit of a slower reload, but it's not going to be the end of the world. So definitely go ahead and see which one you like to run. Honestly, both of these, it depends. If you're playing on a really small map, having the extended mag 1 might be a better option than the flip mag. This is one of those guns where you really can't go wrong with. Now, let's say you did not want to run an 8 attachment setup. You are going to remove the combat stock. You are going to remove the extended mag 1. And you are going to go ahead and remove the Kevlar Microflex. So you are going to be rocking this weapon with the iron sights because we need to retain having the rapid fire. You guys can see here, this weapon, in my personal opinion, is going to be the best when utilizing the optic with the 8 attachment build, but it's honestly not even bad with the iron sights as well. It's just going to depend on if you like the iron sights, you can get away with it. If you don't, obviously go ahead and rock the 8 attachment setup. And finally, for class setup number 5, we are going over the Big Daddy, the Model L, one of the best weapons in the entire game. This weapon did not receive a nerf within season 1. For the optic, we have on the Kevlar Microflex. For the muzzle, we are going to be rocking the suppressor, keeping us off the radar. This weapon has very low recoil. For the barrel, we are going to run the long barrel, making this weapon as deadly as it possibly can be at those medium to longer ranges with that improved damage range. For the underbarrel, we can get away with rocking the Ranger foregrip. This weapon has a very smooth recoil control, so definitely go ahead and rock this, reaping the rewards of both horizontal as well as sprinting movement speed. Just a nice attachment to have. For the magazine, we are going to rock extended mag 1 here. All these other attachments are removing ammo capacity or hurting this weapon's handling. We definitely do not want to have that happen. For the rear grip, we are going to be rocking the Commando grip. It's an assault rifle, so having that improved aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed is very important. For the stock, we are going to be rocking the combat stock. Again, this is going to be the best stock in the game currently, improving flinch resistance and walking movement speed. You can't go wrong with it, especially if it is a high damage weapon. No laser on this build. It's not necessary given your position. No. And for the fire mods, we are going to be rocking the recoil springs to remove a lot of that horizontal and vertical recoil control. Overall, a great class setup with the Model L. This is going to be a nasty assault rifle because in the firing range, you're going to see here that we have a build that is going to have a fast ADS, sprint out speed, aim walking speed, and very controllable recoil. This is going to be one of the best guns in the entire game to use right now. They did not nerf it. Now, let's say you want to go ahead and mix up this build and not run all 8 attachments. It really isn't necessary, but I like to make the weapons as best and as overpowered as they can be. We can go ahead and remove the recoil springs. We can go ahead and remove the combat stock and the extended mag 1, but because we're not running recoil springs, I highly recommend going ahead and swapping out the Ranger foregrip for the vertical foregrip for that additional horizontal recoil control. And you are going to see here that we are still going to have a very accurate class setup. You just aren't going to have the extra handling that the additional attachments give you with this setup, which honestly I do think is worth it, but I understand a lot of people do not like running the 8 attachment classes. Now, these are going to be the top 5 best class setups to rock here in Black Ops 6 Season 1. Now, if you guys are going to be running the 8 attachment builds, the Strider Point 22 is a good secondary. I always swap this out for whatever AR or SMG I can find off the ground because there's plenty of XM4s and C9s to choose from. The combat knife, stim shot, frag grenade. You guys can also rock the blast traps. These are incredibly overpowered in Black Ops 6. The assault pack, I'm running Scavenger, Assassin, Bankroll, Enforcer because we have 3 perks under the same family, and we are running Gunfighter to have the 8 attachment class setups. Now, let's say you do not want to run the 8 attachment builds, only want to run 5. You can run Tactical Expert, which is going to be going ahead and giving you additional stim shots. Or you guys can go ahead and run Perk Breed, which is going to be giving you an additional perk, which I would go ahead and run Ghost on if you were going to be running additional perks on your class setup. You honestly cannot go wrong with any of these. These are going to be some great setups to use, especially if you're trying to build a setup around stealth, accuracy, handling, and absolutely destroying the lobby. So if you guys enjoy, feel free, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications, and if these class setups help you guys out, let me know down in the comment section. It's been your boy Ears, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.